Welcome to the Working Moms Podcast, featuring inspiring stories and resources for the modern working mom. I'm your host, Pam Maass, estate planning attorney, mom, and owner of Law Mother. This is a special live event for the Working Moms Podcast. Today's guest is Clare Ochoa. She's going to be talking to us about the 3 simple steps to creating a vision board that actually works. And Clare is an author, she's a personal life coach, and she really is passionate about inspiring others to feel better, to be more confident, to develop better relationships, and to reach their goals in life. So I will pass it on to you, Clare. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Pam. It's an amazing opportunity, and you're an inspiration to me and to all the other working moms out there. This is such an amazing opportunity because one of the things I absolutely love sharing with my clients and I love working on is our future. I think when you think about it, our future is just an open opportunity to create anything you want in your life. And I have really seen that when I did this kind of work for myself. I've inspired my children, my husband, and also so many of my clients who are exceeding what they imagined their life would be like. Even like a month or 3 months out, but a full year gives us so much opportunity to start designing our life going forward. So during this call, I'm going to share with you the 3 simple steps to creating a vision board that actually works. The number one tool I really do believe in is imagining your future, your ideal future. Number 2, I'll be going over is how to create a vision board and how to create a vision board that you actually love. I think is the difference between creating a vision board that works and one that doesn't work. And I will also be sharing the third really simple practice, which is actually believing on purpose and doing this in our daily practice and keeping the vision board in our space so that we can remind ourselves of where we're going. So I will kind of go over a little bit of why make a vision board. I'm going to share with you my vision board and also a vision board I have virtually created for all of you. And also, I will share the 3 vision board traps. I think it's useful to just understand what separates a vision board that actually works and what separates one that doesn't actually get us the results that we're looking for. And so, like, as we begin here, I just want to invite you. Some of us have heard about other vision boards or we've seen seminars like this. We've done a lot of vision boarding. You're all creating your vision right now with your life. And just invite you to come in as a beginner and take away one practical or tactical tool that you can use in your own life for your vision this year. And I'm going to share with you what has worked for me. And I think one of the things that I think is most important is just kind of like take away one simple thing that will inspire you to do this for yourself. And that would be my goal today, is that I share something that you can take away and to create your own vision board. Some of the things I like to think about when I'm creating a vision board is that what we think about, we do create. And it's very important to be mindful of what we're thinking about as we think about our future. So the vision board brings that roadmap in front of us. You really do get to believe anything that you want, and that becomes something that you start seeing in your life, and then you start believing in the possibility even bigger than you ever did before. Also, what you focus on is what you will find. And I will give you some examples of how I found those things in my life. And also, the one thing I always, when I am creating my vision board, I'm always mindful of saying to myself that if it's clear, it will appear. So if it's clear on my board and it's clear in my mind, it certainly will appear in my life. And at the end, I'll open up, like Pam said, I'll open up for some questions or some visions you might want to share or anything that you would like to contribute at the end. And also, I will also share how you can reach out to me if you would like. And I do have a vision board workbook that will go along with this that you can use as you create your own vision board at home. So as I begin, I would really like to just talk a little more about why it's important to create a vision board. or create a vision for your future, whether it's a board or something you put on your laptop, or it's a visual document that you pull up and you go over a lot, you look at it all the time. Creating a vision is like creating a roadmap. It's like the GPS for our brain. It's also, if you think about it, it's kind of like a treasure map. If you were on a treasure hunt, you would want to know like where you're going, you'd want to design it, what are you looking for, and it will give you that focus for your brain to look towards. So I just have this simple little exercise I thought would be fun. And I just want everybody, just for a minute, either you close your eyes or if you're driving, do not close your eyes. But if you just want to imagine that on this call, everybody entered their names, and I bought a lottery ticket for you and you didn't know, and you won $100 million. Now I have to say, I actually had to look up how many zeros to make sure I got 100 million right. So that's how it's not even in my vision, $100 million. But if you actually won $100 million right now, like what would you be thinking? Who would you call first? Like, think about it. You get the money, you know it's coming, and you're going to call someone and you're going to tell them something. And you'd be thinking like, what is the first thing I'm going to do? What are you going to be thinking? And what would you be feeling? For me, I was like, I'm going to call my husband. He's going to retire. I'm going to call my children. And all these things came up for me. And I was like, actually getting excited. I was like, this is so fun. This is so possible. That is the energy that we want to create when we're creating our vision board. It's as if we know we're getting it. That feeling will fuel the actions that we take towards the goal. And honestly, it would never matter if I even made $100 million. I'd be living in that in the moment. I'd be living in the possibility of like my husband retiring, my son opening up his dream surf shop, my daughter opening up her dream dog training center. I would like be able to create all of that. And living in that now, we get to feel that now. So that's the energy we want to bring to our vision board. What is that we want to feel when we get those things, when we get the things that we're putting on our board that we're looking towards in the future? So that kind of feeling and emotion is what you want to bring to your vision board. And I'm going to just kind of review with you the 3 steps, like we talked about, the 3 steps to creating a vision board that actually will work. And the number 1 tool, like I said, is your imagination. So our imagination is our most powerful tool in creating anything you want, whether it's, advance your business, double your income, meet the man of your dreams, have a baby, go on a dream vacation. Your imagination of that is your most powerful tool. Understanding that when you allow yourself to dream, you're actually allowing that emotion in your body. You're allowing the possibility. So when we cut pictures out and we put it on our vision board and we imagine having those things, we're allowing ourselves to believe in that possibility. And then it can be possible for us. So when we're creating our vision board, we want to write the story of, I am this person. I am someone that's going to double their business. I am someone that's going to meet the man of my dreams. So we want to start talking about ourselves that way, referring to it when we're looking at our vision board as if it's already happened. So, and then you can ask yourself really powerful questions when you're doing this. When you're dreaming about your future life this year, ask yourself, like, it would be amazing if. It would be absolutely incredible if I did this or created a website and sold a book and whatever it is you're dreaming about. It would be amazing if, and ask yourself those powerful questions. The future is your property. And whether we keep looking to our past to create our future, we'll just recreate what we already have. So we have to design what we want to believe in going forward. So when you're imagining your future life for 2021, what you want to do is really ask yourself, if it were possible, just like we were imagining $100 million, what would I want? Sometimes just allowing ourselves to want something will create the inspiration in us to start going after it. So allowing yourself that time to want something like that. So um, the next tool that we will talk about is actually creating your vision board. And this is the fun part. And what I inspire you to do is to create it your way, like your style, whatever it is for you. If you're fancy, if you like things in a beautiful frame, put it in a beautiful frame, display it where you can see it in, in your kitchen. I've done all kinds of different vision boards, and sometimes I've just framed something in a little frame that I wanted to believe, and I'll show you later, but something that you want to just put on your desk, and you can create it however you want. But if you make it yours, add colors that you like, designs that you like. If you like a lot of things on it, just always be mindful that if it's something that's beautiful and you keep it out in the open, you will start creating that. So number one, make it your own. The words that we use will create a vibration in our body, and that will also help create our future. So what we want to do is add words that inspire us. You can add, for me this year, I was choosing the word light. I want to add lightness. I want to add brightness. I want to add light, things to be light. So last year I was working on the word trust. So anything that inspires you, you can add words or phrases to your board, and you can incorporate that to just like if you see that word, you'll start noticing it pop up everywhere. And it just gives me more evidence that my vision board is working, that it's all coming and the visual stimulation is actually helping. So another powerful tool is to match a photo to each goal that you're working towards. And sometimes you can just cut out a picture of yourself and put it in that other picture. You can cut out pictures that just kind of inspire you. It can just be like a visual of a vacation that you want to go on. Just clipping out anything, and anything that inspires you will really help create a beautiful vision board. And the other thing is, what I'm always mindful of is that if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So we want to keep things in our sight. So we want to keep it pretty. We want to keep it in a spot that we always see it. So you can create a vision board party where you get together with friends. You can do like a Zoom party and everybody can do it together. Something that you think would be fun to create your vision. And then you can kind of hold each other accountable, like, oh, or, where's your vision board? How is it going? And so then the idea here that is to design a visual that you love. Almost that you love your vision for the whole year will create an experience that's different than if you're creating a vision board that you think is impossible and you're not believing in it. Designing something that you actually love, it's pretty, it creates this experience of already loving the future vision for your year. So the third simple tool that you can use is to practice believing in your vision board. And so how do we do this? One of the things is, like we did with the little exercise of imagining winning $100 million, is with the pictures, imagine yourself there. Like, what would you be thinking? What would you be feeling? And this is like a practice that we need to do on a regular basis with anything that we want. We can use this with big things, with little things. So for example, I often imagine what Walt Disney, what was he thinking about on a regular basis to create that entire dream world, to create a vision like that. His imagination must have just been all the time imagining colors and scenarios for people to, like, the whole plan is just, it's incredible. So if we use our imagination like that, and we are focusing on what we would be thinking and feeling if we were actually walking through that life, walking through the scenario of a dream vacation or a dream job, we will then be inspired to take action from that inspiration, from that fuel, that energy that we're creating in the future. So asking yourself, if I were already there, if I already had the dream body, if I was already in that bathing suit that I was imagining, what would I be thinking? What would I be doing? Would I be, shopping for new bathing suits? What would I be thinking? What would I be eating? What would I be planning for my day? Already being there will create the emotions for you now, and then you will take those actions. Um, so to create something that you've never created before, we have to think thoughts that we've never thought before. So that sounds a little like, how do we do that? We have to think something like, this is possible, this is happening. I'm creating a dream job. We have to already start practicing those thoughts regularly. And the vision board helps us do that. It helps us remind us that we just need to practice new thoughts. Because if we keep repeating the same thoughts, we're going to create the same life that we've had. So practicing doing that on a regular basis, stepping into that energy. Anything that you have the power to imagine, you have the power to create. And honestly, using our most precious tool, our brain, to create the future that we want is what we have as a superpower as humans. We have that ability to create anything we want when we use our brain. So the example I have of this is that if you were told that you could look up anything you want and find anything you want, and you kept saying, you know what, I'm not going to use the search engine on my phone. I'm just going to go home and look in the encyclopedia. That's fine. It works. We just would be using our old brain and not creating something new. Yes, it works, but there's possibility for using all the things that are available to us. And our brain is our superpower. It has this amazing tool that it can imagine anything is possible. So giving yourself that opportunity to use your brain like that is amazing. So now we're going to talk about the 3 things that keep us from creating our vision. What are those 3 things? They're very simple, but they're also very common. And it's what happens that people create a vision board and then they're like, oh, I'm not really using it, or it didn't really work. But honestly, these 3 reasons why our visions don't work, why our vision doesn't come to fruition, and we don't actually start creating some of that. We have the wrong why. And what I mean by that is, when you're creating your vision, like you want a dream house or a dream vacation, if we believe that that's going to make us more worthy, more valuable, feel better, then we have the wrong why. If we believe that having the home of our dreams will just be amazing, will just be fun, the person we become in that process is what it's all about. And that is when a real dream becomes a reality. When we're just trying to believe something better about ourselves or feel better, we can get the dream home. We can have the awesome husband. We can have all those things, and we're still not happy. We still don't feel valuable. So your dream for this year should be to aspire to these things, put them out there, put them on your vision board, but enjoy the process of who you become in the process of creating this. And that's where you'll feel happier. That's where you'll feel the vibration of the $100 million right now. The person that you become trying to achieve that is where our superpower is. So the second thing is that we put things on the board. We choose things that we think we should do. We should be in a better weight. We should take better care of ourselves, or, we should do all these things. Or if we're not committed, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Because if we're not at an 8 or 9 in commitment, we're in a trying energy instead of a being energy. If you believe that you're going to do it no matter what, that you're going to work towards, making $100 million, you're going to work towards that dream home or dream relationship. If you believe that you'll try anything, you will become that person. You will be it. You'll just be trying and refining, not quitting on ourselves because we weren't really committed to begin with. So that's a big part of it, is really choosing things that we want to create, and we're willing to keep trying and keep taking action until we get there. And the third, probably the biggest trap that we fall into, is not practicing believing, not actually giving ourselves that opportunity for the possibility. So if we drop into doubt or confusion, we don't believe in ourselves. We're not practicing the belief of it is possible to believe anything we want, and we can create anything we want. So those are the three traps I just wanted to go over, just so that we know where we get stuck, and I've definitely done that too. And then I just wanted to share with you uh, a little bit of what I consider to be like a fun creative vision board that you can do, cutting out pictures. Before, like someone else had mentioned earlier, that they started clipping things out, and I do the same thing. Somewhere in the first week of January, I start kind of clipping things that inspire me, invitations, a card that comes with a great picture. It could be anything, cutting out words. And so this is a vision board I created for you guys, just kind of thinking that if you're thinking about, having a special birthday, you can cut out a birthday card. These types of things will inspire our brain to start looking for the answers, start figuring out the how by inspiring us with the emotion. So words like feeling and rest and fabulous, um, possibly going on a vacation, designing your vision board with words and pictures that inspire you. And so I will also share my own vision board and some of the things that I also think can really help your brain believe in your vision are things like, so last year I was working on writing my book, and one of the things I did to inspire myself to make it real was I wrote a check out as a donation, a real check that I will be donating from my book. And I know that that's going to happen. Like, I've already written it, I already believe it. So doing things like that. Some of the other things I have on my vision board are just words. Like, I included the word light and words that inspire me. And then I always choose like one thing that I'm focusing on for the year. I will choose like 10 goals, but I pick one thing that I'm really focusing on, and not just focusing on myself, but I'm focusing on my business and who I can help and who I can reach. And doubling my business in the next year is a goal that I have. And this is an example of uh, my posting a picture inside a picture. So we were trying to convince my daughter to move back from San Diego to live by us. So we clipped out a picture of her inside a brand new Jeep that we would buy her so bribery does work. And on top of the picture that we posted in her bedroom, and I put it next to her bed so that she would have that vision. And, no, lo and behold, she did move to Florida. And so we can do it with our children too. You could do it with your husband. So we just kind of like brainwashed her next to her bed. And then the other big focus I have for myself this year is to actually create like a relationship with my husband where I do believe that we have an amazing relationship. I feel like we've been very fortunate, but I want this to be the year that I support him, because I have felt, almost makes me a little emotional. I have felt very supported by him. And I want this to be the year where he feels that. I want him to feel the same way I have felt. So I'm focusing on that. So I put like an anniversary. We're going to celebrate in a big way. This is a card that I had given him. I cut it out to remind me of him supporting me. And just, it literally gives me a visual and a vibration in my body that makes me want to act on that. So you can see why creating the vision for yourself, it'll bring up emotion. It'll bring up what you're trying to feel now. And when I feel that way in my body, I actually speak a little nicer to him. Or I make his coffee a little nicer, or I pack his lunch, whatever it is. That inspires me to be that support to him. And I just remind myself that I want to be that. So another way is to be in our life what we want. So if you're wanting something in your life, if you're wanting any of these things in your life, you be it, and then you will get it yourself. You will receive that back to you. So those are just my vision, my vision board tools, and I hope that this does inspire you. I am passionate about it because I believe that we all have this little inner drive to want something more, and we just need to believe that we can have it. And then this helps us with that. So that's my sharing. If anybody has any questions or um, anything else that you would like to.
That was so powerful. There's a few times that I got some like goosebumps in what you were describing, and definitely want to open it up right now to questions. Feel free to unmute yourself, or you can type it in the chat, whichever you feel more comfortable with. And I can read the questions, or you can take yourself off mute, and I'll give people a moment to see. There were a few comments as you were going. So someone had commented, "Is that how I get my parents to move out of here?" I think when you were giving the description of your daughter. And then someone had commented that, supporting the hubby really resonated. So you got some comments there, but I'll just give people a moment if anyone wants to comment or has questions.
I have a question. So I think space is kind of at a premium for a lot of people. And I know you said like keep it where you can see it a lot. I'm kind of a Pinterest junkie. Do you think that there's value to doing this, like using Pinterest or some other digital thing? And I know I'm not the only one on this call who's a Pinterest junkie based on the comments in the chat. Do you think there's value in that, or do you think it's more important to have it like a physical visual thing in front of you?
Yeah, I think that's an amazing idea. It works really well. That's why Pinterest is so successful, is because people can envision something. It gives it a visual to visualize their room, that space, or a meal that they can cook. It gives us that, visual to create it. I think having it on like a Pinterest site that you post something. I also think taking a picture of whatever you design on Pinterest and then having it on your phone, you can look at it. The other way that I had mentioned before is several years ago, I had created, I love to read, I love books, and I created a jewelry design business where I was making handmade bookmarks. And when I created my business, before I ever really started selling them, I took my business card, I put it in the frame, I put money in there, I put my Irish good luck charm, and I put this in the space where I was working on them and inspiring myself that I had this business card. I'm like, I have a business card. And I was telling myself that this would be successful. And it was as successful as I wanted it to be. And I just had it on my desk, and you can do a small little picture frame like this. So it's like in your kitchen. It could be a tiny little picture in your bathroom. Something, I often think that even the word that you could kind of create for your Pinterest board, you can have on a rock, and you paint the word that inspires you. Like if your vision is, more passion or more creativity, you can put that word on a rock. It's anything to stimulate the visual in our brain. Does that answer your question? Is that helpful? And I do actually think that you can get your parents to move out by doing that with the picture. Because what you're doing is you're creating a visual for them. So you can start kind of like giving these little messages like, oh, if you had your own closet, if you had your own, we can create these visions for other people. But it did work for me. So does anyone else have any questions?
I see another question, which is, do you recommend a limit to how many goals?
Well, this is interesting. I personally choose 10 goals for the year, which I don't put them all on my vision board. I kind of do like health. I do them in categories on my vision board, but I usually have 10 goals that I'm working on. I'm sorry, 10 dreams. And then I usually pick one goal that is my focus for the year. And I do include that in the workbook, the vision board workbook that you can get. And so this idea that we have 10 dreams, and some of them this is very powerful also. Things that we've already created, we want to also include some of those. Like I am still working on a loving relationship with my husband. It is something I have, but I'm also working on it. So if you have like 10 larger dreams and then you create, like we did buy a beach house that we were dreaming about last year. And a part of that was, I still want that this year. Like I'm still working on it. And we're still creating it. I'm still believing that we can do this to it and that. Then I pick one thing that I'm focusing on, which is what I usually put in the middle of my one goal. And I think it gives your brain, the reason why we want to constrain on those and not have like 20 or 30, the constraint gives your brain focus and discipline. And then you actually know that you're getting there. So you're taking steps every day to create that. But it is very helpful to create one goal at a time. And then once you're working on it and it's becoming a reality, you can then add it to your dreams and then create, more goals. Does that answer your question?
I I haven't seen any comment back, so I believe that does answer her
Okay.
question. And I'll give people a few minutes if they have additional questions to type them in, or you can take yourself off mute. And kind of one of the things that I was thinking about question wise is you just mentioned kind of the different categories. What are the specific categories that you typically recommend? You said health. It sounds like relationships, career. Is there other categories that you recommend people focus on?
Yeah, I think that you can always kind of go back to like the basics of like spiritual wellness, which we can include like anything in that category of your, intentional practice for yourself during the year. And then we can go into health and fitness, where you want that to be. And then, like you said, Pam, relationships, we can focus on creating amazing relationships, which, we can separate that even down to categories with our children, with our coworkers, with our spouse, whatever that is, but we can categorize that together. And then we can go into like, um, I kind of call them like our, you know, amazing, if it could be adventure, travel, all of that kind of thing you can do. And also you can also have, like you said, career, which could be um, entrepreneurial, like a home business or work for someone, whatever your career is, even if you're wanting to be a chef and you start focusing on, what would that life look like? What would I be studying? What would I be doing? Creating your career also. So any of those categories you can, and you can make other categories if it's something for you that you're interested in. But I usually try to stick to those well-being, relationships, um, travel and adventure is one of them, and then also your health and fitness lifestyle.
It looks like a follow-up question was, do you put all the dreams on one board or different boards for each separate dream with specific goals for each dream?
Yeah, so I do like to create one board that I have a picture representing each of those different categories. But however you feel that you like, if you wanted to have a board or something, a picture in your office and you wanted something in your kitchen, I mean, you can do this and design it. That's why I really, really say that it should be something that you love. It should be your way. It should be how you like to design things. I like this idea that I come back to it and I refer back to it. And at the end of the year, I look at it and I have one area to go to. But I do think that it's important to keep it clear and keep it so that it's, because if it's clear, it's easier to see the pictures and let them resonate with you. So if you want to have several different boards, then you might want to create something like that. That can be so helpful. Yeah, for sure.
And then kind of like just to kind of piggyback off like the beach house, for example, that you had. I know you achieved the beach house this year. Um, yeah. So for me, I know like I definitely have had on my vision board a beach house. And kind of getting to your limiting, kind of the limiting beliefs or whatever. Is it something you should put up there? Like if you know it's a goal sometime in the next 5 years, and maybe this year you'll be visiting a beach house or taking a vacation, and then should you constrain it to something you really feel like you can do within a year? Can you be open to the possibility that might take a different form? Or should you really be reflecting and saying, okay, realistically, what can I establish in the next year? Like, where's that balance between your realism and your dream? I guess,
Yeah,
when
it's
you're creating that?
such a great question. Such a great question. And this is a really good example also because our dream was to buy a beach house in 3 years. That was, my husband and I, like, if we could buy a beach house in 3 years, that would be amazing. And it was always like, well, when we get there, we'll do that. But I did put it on my vision board because it was a part of like how I wanted my whole life to look. And I just kind of thought that when we put it there, we start looking for it. And we went on vacation and visited areas, and it was always in the background. And we started being like, well, this might be possible. The limiting beliefs are what keep us from putting it on the vision board. So be on to yourself too. Like, it's possible it could happen this year. If it's something you truly want, let's get it on the board. Let's start looking for evidence of it in our life. Let's start maybe looking at beach houses when we're on vacation or when we're, searching the internet, like areas to live. And my husband was doing a lot of that research, and he was literally living in the idea that we're buying, where are we buying? Like as if it was happening. He's like, I need to like research this. He was researching areas. And so he was living in that energy. And I was just like, I know the perfect house will appear because I'm imagining myself in a blue house, sitting on a porch near the beach. And I really honestly, in my bones, I believed it would happen. I never dreamed it would happen 3 years earlier than we expected. And I think that's because it didn't seem impossible. I knew we would get there. The thing that makes it impossible, and the reason why sometimes we don't want to put something on our vision board, is we don't want to deal with the doubt or disappointment. The only way you'll be disappointed if you put the beach house on there and you don't get it is if you allow yourself to be disappointed by it. But as you're hoping for it and you're being that person believing in the dream, we get to live in that energy. So what's the downside to believing in the beach house 3 years before? You never know. You might get it 3 years earlier. So put those dreams on there, believe in the possibility. And when the doubts come up, just know that that is just limiting belief. We practice believing by creating vision boards. So, and what you truly want, I believe this is like what we truly want, the roadmap will be there. We all have the ability inside us to create what we truly want. I don't want to be a basketball player. I don't want to certain things I don't want to do. And that's because it's not in me. I don't even have those, I don't have that desire. But when you really want something, pay attention to it. You have the ability. It's in there. Just have to be willing to feel all the feelings and feel doubt and insecurity and honestly even um I'm going to just go off on a little bit here, but I think this is important to understand. We don't have to have huge visions of beach houses and double our income. We can have a vision of having a conversation with our mothers that goes well. Like if you want to have a better relationship, we can imagine like a relationship with our mother. We can imagine a relationship with food, something that we want to feel better in our body. Imagining that, like having that imagination, like how will that phone call go? Who am I going to be? Am I going to listen? Am I going to just love that person? How am I going to show up to that conversation with my mother? That's building the imagination and the visual of what I want. We don't have to have these huge things. It's possible for all of us, but sometimes we can start small with the relationship with our boss and at our job. If you want to create a better job, we need to think better thoughts now. Imagine yourself loving that job. Imagine yourself if you showed up and you were like, you know what, this is amazing. I have this opportunity. I'm here working. Imagine that, how that goes. You're using your imagination either as a weapon or a tool. And we're very good at imagining worst case scenario. So ask yourself, what if it's possible that the best case scenario? I mean, we all have vivid imaginations of worse, things happening, and we just have to bring it around and micromanage our brain to create what we want. So use it as a tool, not a weapon, to create anything you want in your life. And that can be as small as a conversation on the phone. That can be, planning a meal. Like, how do I want to show up in my kitchen when I'm cooking for my family? Who do I want to be? Do I want to love this? Do I want to be that kind of mom that's showing up to cook that meal? that kind of love that we put into that and that kind of visualization will then help us show up in our relationship with our children. So it's very important that we imagine ourselves as that person we want to be. That was a long answer, Pam.
No, that was great. I was nodding along. Well, as people put their final questions, it doesn't look like we have any more, but I just want to give people a moment in case they were shy and they wanted to take themselves off mute. And so you have a workbook that is free for people to get. And so we're going to include that in the show notes in the podcast, but for everyone that's on live, what's the best way for them to get a copy of that workbook?
The best way would be to email me at ochoaclaire.com. I'm sorry.
ochoaclaire@gmail.com.
At Gmail.
I'll type it.
Yeah, thank you.
in the chat.
ochoaclaire@gmail.com. You can also, message me on Facebook, and I can just send it to you in a PDF, and you can print it and start using it right as you're creating your vision board. And then also, if you reach out to Pam, or Pam will, anyway, you can email me, and then also I will put it. What was I thinking the other way?
Do you want to post it in the Facebook group too?
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I could post it in the Facebook group.
So we'll post it in the Facebook group. You can also email Claire, and there'll be some things in the show notes as well for how to get to it. And that's just a workbook. And then for everyone that is in the Facebook community or wants to join, you'll have the link in our show notes. But as you create it after this workshop, if you're watching live right now, or you are listening or watching our replay, go ahead and share with us in the Facebook group what you've created, so we can kind of cheer you on and all of us can be inspired by your greatness. Before we sign off, Claire, is there any, what's the other best ways for people to get a hold of you? How do you work with people?
Yeah, so I usually work with people one-on-one. I have a very intimate, private practice. I like to work, individually. I meet weekly via Zoom, and a lot of my clients right now, we're designing their vision for the year, also with, actionable tools, and accountability and all of that. And some of my clients have very large goals, and some have smaller goals that they're trying to work on and accomplish that for the next year. But you can reach me, and, either through email or, like Pam said, you can Facebook group, and I would be happy to give you a free consult if you wanted to just discuss your vision board. I'm happy to go over that with you in a 45-minute free consult call. It's, I love this work. I'm passionate about it. I love people getting the same results that I have gotten. And so if there's anything I can do, I would be happy to answer your questions or just discuss some visions that you have for your life, and maybe some of the limiting beliefs, the obstacles. That's what I show you, how to take any of the obstacles to creating your dream, turn them into strategies, and actually get results. Using this kind of work, working with a coach, working with a vision board, creating a focus will not only get you there, but it'll get you there faster. It's that much more fun. It's that much more accountability. And it really just helps you see your limiting beliefs and turn them into strategies and overcome them.
Well, thank you so much, Claire. Hey, Mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Head over to my website, lawmother.com/podcast for all the show notes and links you heard in today's episode. You'll also be able to get access to my free legal tool for you to name legal guardians for your children to protect them and have that peace of mind. It's all right there at lawmother.com.